So then, in terms of current events, um, we so some of them asked about, what are your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter, the protests, the way they were perceived by the public, the comparison between that and the Capitol riot, and then just talking about, has the pandemic changed any of your goals or your thoughts or what we need for social justice? And I think the last question on this slide has already been addressed. So mainly the top three.
Okay. Starting with the first one, have you participated in the Black Lives Matter protests? Yes, I participated in a total of 4 last year. And I think what the young people were doing, I supported. It was good because we had a lot of things. There wasn't anything new. Maybe to a lot of the young people, it might seem that it was new, but we've had things that were even worse than what happened with Breonna Taylor, what happened with George Floyd, what happened to Tamir Rice, and some of the others. I can't think of anything that was more horrific than what happened to Emmett Till. Okay, when this is a young teenage young boy that's in junior high school, and they say he allegedly had whistled or flirted with a white woman, and they came to his uncle's house, took him out of the house, gouged his eyes out, beat his brains to a pulp, uh, tied him up with a fan, put some bricks on his legs, and threw him off into the Tehachapi River. And nothing was done. And even though the lady who alleged that he had assaulted her, she wrote a book, and the book came out last year saying that she had lied, and still nothing was done. And this young kid lost his life rather. And when I recall back when I was growing up, seeing people hanging from a tree, because I'm from the South, okay, from Texas. And then just as recent as 1999, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it happened in Jasper, Texas, where they tied this brother up behind a truck, drug him through the community where his arms came off, his legs came off, his neck came off, he was killed, and nothing was done. So I think what the young people are doing, I think they have a right to protest, okay? Because protest allows us to get the attention, okay, of the authorities in terms of uh, some of the injustices that we're feeling. The thing that I would like to share that we need to consider, and it usually doesn't happen with the people who are protesting for a cause. It's usually the outside agitators that come in and start to do riots or break into buildings. And unfortunately, the news just focus in on that part. Okay. And one of the things that I would like to share with the young people as we're protesting, we need to have a new slogan, and that new slogan needs to be changed from like "burn, baby, burn," but it should be "build, baby, build, organize, baby, organize, learn, baby, learn, so that you can earn, baby, earn." Because that's what it's all about. If you cannot make a good living, you're going to have a difficult time being able to escape poverty and be caught up in some of the social injustices. Because one of the things that hurt George Floyd, okay, and he shouldn't have died from this, I want to make that clear, but he was trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill in a store. That shouldn't have got anybody killed, but it did, and nothing happened. When they broke into Breonna Taylor's house, okay, and shot and killed her, nothing happened. So I support the protests. I'm out there protesting with them. I think there needs to be more collaboration with the young people and the older people. And if you recall back in history, when we go back to the March on Washington, we had a lot of young people that were protesting when we had that March on Washington and going over the Edmund Pettus Bridge and the Selma to Montgomery bus boycott. So this is something that will continue, and we just need to make sure we keep a positive spin on it. Okay. Going to the next question in terms of what are your thoughts on the Capitol riot, uh, specifically in comparison to the Black Lives protest? Now, I thought about this, and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody, but I can assure you, if that had been all blacks, it would have been a bloodbath on the Capitol. A lot of people would have been killed. Okay. It just so happens that it was all and mostly white males, part of the Proud Boys, part of the Boogaloo Boys, and some of the other hate groups. And to show you just how should I say this? I don't want to say ignorant, but I'm often reminded of what Dr. King once said, that sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity is one of the two worst things that can happen to an individual. And I personally feel that's what happened to those people that were trying to uh, overthrow our democracy and the Capitol, which was instigated, in my opinion, by the president. To show you just how uninformed they were, these are people that are taking selfies. They don't seem to realize that they're on camera. Okay. So all of the evidence is there as they're doing this horrible act. Okay. And then they had the audacity to want to ask the president to give them a pardon, of which the president didn't do. Okay. And I personally feel that they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law based on the facts, because unfortunately you had 7 people who were killed, okay, unnecessarily. And, you know, this is something that I think we're still dealing with right now, even though the president wasn't impeached. But you got to keep in mind, we can't say that that's how the majority of the people feel. That's how the uh, 50 Senate Republicans felt. And so anytime we have people in positions of leadership that's representing us, and it's going to have more loyalty to an individual than they do to their constituents, than they do to their country, than they do to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, you know, we're going to have an opportunity come 2022 to not to reelect those people. I think the next question was, how has the pandemic affected your goals and thoughts on social justice? It hasn't. All it's done is, and what you guys are doing, we just have to come up with a different way in which we're going to reach people. It doesn't stop the movement. It doesn't stop what it is we're trying to do. We just have to use a different medium. And the only problem with using these different mediums is that everybody may not have access to a laptop, or everybody may not have access to a good internet system, or everybody may not necessarily know how to download Zoom and be able to operate it effectively. But it's another medium that I think as we continue throughout this year, I think everybody will be very familiar with it because we haven't had to use this before. But the only thing that the pandemic has done is change the way in which we interact with people. And it has had a significant impact on my life as well as yours and other lives, because unfortunately we've had over 500,000 plus people who died from this pandemic. And I think the numbers could have been significantly lower, but because of the present administration under President Trump uh, didn't take it seriously, misled the people, knew how seriously it was, but didn't share that with the people. And as a result, we've had all these lost lives, and he didn't provide a strategy to roll out to the states, so the states could roll it out to the counties could roll it out to the cities. And unfortunately, we've lost a lot of lives. And he was saying crazy things like you could drink hydroxychloroquine and that would cause it to go away. That's enough right there to take him out of office. Or you could drink bleach and it would cause it to go away. That's enough to cause it to go out of office. Anytime you have a person of leadership that will sit down and say, I could stand out on Fifth Avenue and shoot and kill somebody, I still wouldn't lose my base. When you have someone that's disrespecting our veterans, when you have someone that will take the advice of Russia over our own intelligence, I mean, I don't want to continue on that dialogue, but it's just really embarrassing what this pandemic has done and the effects that it's had on it. But we're going to get through it. And the last question I think I've already